It's this beautiful square with some peaks on the corners and curved sides. On this video, I'm going to teach you how to do the French square. I'm going to be using a 4mm hook and some acrylic yarn size 4. All right, so we're going to start with a slip knot. So we're going to do a base ring, and for the base ring, you want to chain 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And to close it off, we're going to do a slip stitch into the very first chain that you just made. So find that chain, insert your hook, and pull the yarn through for a slip stitch. Now we've created this ring, and we're going to be working into the middle of the ring. To start row 1, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. And now into the middle of the circle, you're going to work a double crochet and chain 1, a total of 11 times. So that combination of double crochet, chain 1, you want to do 11 times. That was my first one. We're going to do our second one here. Double crochet, chain 1. That's 2. Double crochet, chain 1. That's 3. So do this a total of 11 times, and I'll see you when you're done. All right, I just finished the 11 repetitions. And so to finish off row 1, we're going to do a slip stitch into the third chain of the chain 4 that we did at the beginning. So 1, 2, 3, into that third chain, do a slip stitch. And this here is the end of row 1. For row 2, we're going to do a slip stitch into the next space, into the chain 1 space. So that means in between this chain 3 and the next double crochet. In between there, insert your hook and grab the yarn and pull through for a slip stitch. We want to start our row 2 from this spot. So now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to work a puff stitch into the same space. So for a puff stitch, you're going to yarn over, go into the same spot, grab the yarn and pull up. Yarn over, go into the same spot, grab the yarn and pull up. That's 2. You want to do that 4 times. That's 3. That's 4. Yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. I think I got caught there with one strand, but that is a puff stitch there. And now we can start the row repeat. We're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. And then we're going to work a puff stitch into the next space. When I say space, I mean the chain 1 space between the double crochets. So into there, a puff stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop 4 times. That's 2, 3, 4. Pull through all of the loops on your hook. Continuing the row repeat, we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do a treble crochet on top of the next double crochet. So for a treble crochet, we yarn over twice, go on top of the treble crochet, grab the yarn and pull through. Sorry, go on top of the double crochet. And now we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 for a treble crochet. Continuing the row repeat, we're going to chain 3. And now work a puff stitch into the next chain space. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we pull through all the loops on our hook. Continuing the row repeat, you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. And then to finish off, we're going to work 1 puff stitch into the next chain space. So into the next space, we do a puff stitch. 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. And that ends the row repeat. So we're going to do it together one more time. Back to the beginning of the row repeat, you chain 2. And now you work a puff stitch into the next space. That's my puff stitch. Continuing the row repeat, we chain 3 and work a treble crochet on top of the next double crochet of the previous row. Treble crochet. Then we chain 3 And now we want to work a puff stitch into the next space. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continuing the row repeat, you're going to chain 2 and work a puff stitch into the next space. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that ends the row repeat. So we're going to do that again to create our other corners. I'm going to do this 2 more times, and then I'll see you when I'm done. I lied. I only did it 1 more time because I want to show you the very end. So I've just done my final puff stitch of the repetition. So I'm left with these 2 double crochets and chain spaces in between. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a chain 2, do a puff stitch into the next space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull through all the loops. Now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Do a treble crochet on top of the next double crochet. Chain 3. And so now you're going to do your final puff stitch into the last chain space. Into there, puff stitch. And now we're going to chain 2. And we can finish off this row by doing a slip stitch on top of the first puff stitch of the row. So you find the top of the puff stitch and then you do a slip stitch onto it. And this here is the end of row 2. For row 3, we're going to chain 1 and do 1 single crochet into the same place, into the same spot, a single crochet. Now we are going to start with a chain 2, 1 and 2. And then we're going to go into the chain 3 space of the corner, the first one. And into there, you're going to do 4 double crochets around the chain space. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. And then do a treble crochet on top of the treble crochet from before. Now you want to chain 3 and do a slip stitch on top of the treble crochet you just created. So you insert your hook into that top of the treble crochet and do a slip stitch. And that gives you like a peak here at the corner of the square. Continuing the row repeat, we're going to chain 2 and then do 4 double crochets into the next chain 3 space around the chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continuing the row repeat, we are going to chain 2. And now you want to do 1 single crochet on top of the middle puff stitch. So you have 3. Into the middle one, we're going to do a single crochet. And that ends the row repeat. I'm going to verbalize it now. You're going to start with a chain 2. So I'm going to just do it with you. Chain 2. Skip the puff stitch and into the chain 3 space, we're going to work 4 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to chain 2 and then do a treble crochet on top of the previous treble crochet. Now you're going to chain 3 and do a slip stitch on top of the treble crochet you just created for that picot. Continuing the row repeat, we chain 2 and then do 4 double crochets around the chain space, around the chain 3 space. This is 2, 3, and 4. Continuing the row repeat, we chain 2 and then do 1 single crochet into the middle bubble stitch of the side. So this one here, 1 single crochet. And that's the repeat. So you want to do this around, do that, and then when you're at the very end, you're just going to do a slip stitch into the very first single crochet of the row. So do that and I'll show you when it's done. Okay, so I just finished my final 4 double crochets on this side into the chain 3 space. Now we're going to chain 2, and that slip stitch that I mentioned, you're just going to do it on top of the first single crochet of the row. So we do that slip stitch, and now you can cut off your yarn and thread the ends through. And here we have it. This is a really beautiful square. As you can see, the sides of it are kind of curved, and then it's got these peaks on the corners. Very fancy. Very, very fancy look. Hey, while you're at it, why don't you just subscribe to my channel? Just do it. Just do it.